What is up, and I welcome each and every one of you back to a brand new video. I hope you're all having fantastic days, and if not, I hope I can make your day just a little bit better. As always, before we get started, like, comment, subscribe. Did I tell you guys to subscribe? Because I feel like that is something you should definitely be doing. We are back, though, with another tier list. That is right, we're looking at the top 40 civs. Again, this is the stage right now. 40 through 20, in my opinion, is interchangeable. These are just my experiences, my opinions, but definitely let me know down below what sort of strategies you might have, and make your case for some of your favorite civilizations to be higher. But without further ado, let's get started. At number 40, we are looking at Pericles. That is right, Pericles is a solid dude, right? Remove the hoplite, one of the worst unique units in the game. Just move that out of the picture. The extra wildcard policy slot and the culture per city-state suzerain you are of, and the Acropolis makes him an incredible culture/diplomatic type of civ, and being able to use the Acropolis to get your surrounded by glory culture bonus is much easier and much more effective than Gorgo's bonuses, so he is definitely the superior Greek. Although the one problem with him is that early on, the hoplite isn't the best unit. He didn't get buffed in the April update, contrary to popular belief. Gorgo's the only one who gets the combat strength boost now, so you could definitely make the argument that Gorgo early on is better than him, but his late game is just so powerful, so strong, that it really tips the scales in his favor dramatically. Pretty much all I have to say about Pericles. The problem with him is he doesn't have a sort of any tourism bonus, sort of like the Gehmer or even Christina for that matter. But the amount of culture and the wildcard policy slot just absolutely lets him blitz through the tech tree. And yeah, that's why I have him at number 40. Number 39, we have Rough Rider Teddy. That is right. Rough Rider Teddy, 5 combat strength on his home continent. Envoy sends to city-states, you have a trade route to count as 2 envoys, and you get the Rough Rider. Pretty solid all around. Very good, actually. It's probably his best ability. Combat strength on the trade route is really damn nice, and you can just easily eliminate everybody on your continent. Trade routes to city-states, get suzerainty of them, move your trade routes, that kind of thing. He's a pretty good civilization for sure. Roosevelt Corollary is one of the best abilities. Founding Father, diplomatic policy slots are converted into wildcard slots, which is always nice, and diplomatic favor for every wildcard slot, that's also good. The P-51 Mustang is strong, but it does come a little later in the game, and its bonuses aren't anything too special. The flight range and the experience is pretty nice. I kind of wish they went for something a little bit better on that, because usually at this stage of the game, you're just wrapping up your victory, and really, this unique unit doesn't really matter. The Rough Rider, it replaces the Corsair now. I don't know if it did before. I don't think it did. Gains culture from kills on the capital's continent and combat strength and fighting on hills. Very, very nice unique unit. Nothing too special. Again, you can use it to blitz through the culture tree, but just all around a solid unit, quite honestly. Lower maintenance cost is very nice as well. The film studio, it's nice, but the problem with this Teddy, I feel like, is that he sort of goes like 1 foot into domination, 1 foot into diplomacy, 1 foot into culture. I really wouldn't go for a culture victory if I were him. Not because he's bad at it, but because the film studio is really good, and not because the film studio is good. It's because his combat strength on his home continent, along with the Rough Rider and P-51 Mustang, should be enough to help him with the domination victory. The fact that it's only on his home continent kind of sucks, because you can eliminate your nearest neighbor or 2, but you're not going to have any bonuses for anybody else until the P-51 Mustang and the Rough Rider. Diplomacy is fine, but if you're going to war, you're not going to go for a diplomacy victory. Like, the -7 per capital captured is just too big. So Teddy's kind of like one of the guys who, if you move in towards his domination bonuses, his diplomatic bonuses suffer. If you go for culture, his domination and diplomatic suffers. If you go for diplomacy, his domination suffers. That's why I have him at number 39, but he is still a very strong civilization. Number 38, we have Mansa Musa Tube. That is right. The rich man himself. International trade routes give gold for every flat desert tile. Very nice. And trade route capacity every time you enter a golden age. It's probably around like no more than 3 or 4 per game. So it's nice, but not anything too crazy. Songs of Jelly gives you faith and food for every adjacent desert and desert hills tile, which is really nice, especially on a plains desert start. Mines receive production and -1 production and 4 gold. May purchase commercial hub districts with faith. 30% -30% production towards constructing builders or units. This is the kind of thing that, in all honesty, puts him down a little bit. Being able to buy gold is nice, but early on in the game, when you can just get absolutely blitzed by everybody, you're not going to have any sort of production to produce anything early game. I mean, you're going to have more gold and faith later on in the game, obviously, and you're going to be one of the first people to a pantheon, and dare I say, you should almost always get desert folklore fairly easily, quite honestly. And work ethic can be helpful, but I mean, it probably isn't the best thing on Mali, because you do want, like, you have no production towards buildings or training units. I guess you can build districts in a timely manner, but you really want to survive the early game and use your gold later on to win the game. But on deity, which is what I'm basing these things on, deity single player, continents, and Pangea map mostly, surviving the early game with a production deficit against the AI, who has like 5 starting warriors and 3 starting cities, is a lot easier said than done. So really, that's kind of a drawback for him. The Sukuba's pretty nice. You can purchase stuff for 20% cheaper, gold and faith, and gold for each holy site and a river's edge, and every 2 adjacent districts means it's going to have a lot of adjacency. Mandakalu cavalry is nice. Trade routes being immune to plunder is pretty much its only good thing. You also get gold equal to 100% of that unit's base combat strength when you kill a unit, which is also very nice. But as Mali, even with the Mandakalu cavalry, you're not going to be able to protect every trade route. You're going to have a butt ton of trade routes. So going to war is probably still not the best idea. Because of that, I have Mali at 38. Still a very strong civilization if you could get it off the ground, but the early game is very lacking. Number 37, we have Eleanor of France. Way better than Eleanor of England. She's really nice. She has the same Court of Love ability, -1 loyalty per turn in foreign cities within 9 tiles, and a city that leaves another civilization immediately becomes your city without going through the 3-city phase. The good thing about her is she gets production towards medieval, Renaissance, and industrial era wonders, and double tourism from wonders of any era, so it helps with your culture. Chateau also is really nice, especially now that it got buffed, giving you lots of culture and tourism in the game. And the Guard Imperial allows you to absolutely decimate whoever is on your continent. I mean, the fact that it can upgrade into line infantry right now is absolutely revolting. 10 combat strength on your capital's continent and great general points. You're looking at a 75 base combat strength unit on your continent, 82 combat strength with the first promotion. And if you upgrade these guys from like early warriors and swordsmen, you could probably get them to elite guard, allowing an 82 combat strength line infantry to attack twice. Not even mentioning, maybe you're going to be on a rough terrain defending, or you're going attacking a city or something like that, because they're melee units. So all in all, a very strong unit all around. Eleanor is at number 37. Her culture is nice, going for a pseudo-culture domination victory. Yeah, pretty much. You could probably make the argument for her to go in the top 30, quite honestly, but in my opinion, she's going to be number 37 because she doesn't quite cut the next few civilizations. Let's look at Lady Six Guy next, who went up a solid 5 or 6 points. The problem with Lady Six Guy in my last video, why I had her so short, or so low on the tier list, was because you don't get rivers, you don't get housing from rivers, and you have to hard build a builder in order to get that housing. Now it helps a little bit because you get a free builder per city settled within 6 tiles, I think it is. Yes. So, I mean, it's really nice allowing you to grow early on, but pretty much what that builder is going to be used for is just farms, trying to get, like, pretty much that builder is just going to make you on an even playing field with anybody else who settled on a river. So really not the best thing. The fact that you can only go out to 6 tiles is kind of restrictive. Ideally, in a perfect scenario, you would get 12 cities, but this is Civ 6, man. Every map is different. You're not going to get an ideal scenario. Most games, you're looking at 7 or 8 cities, which, even though she has the observatory, which gives her a lot of science from plantations, it removes adjacency from mountains, and having 7 or 8 cities is really worse instead of having like 15 to 16 cities all going for a science victory. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. The Mayans do get a massive buff, and they're still a very solid civilization, but just their negatives, they lose yields from cities outside of the 6-tile radius. They're really good at defense, but just the fact that they're so restrictive in where they settle, and their weaker early game, which has been addressed a little bit, I'll put them at number 36. They can still be very strong in the right hands. Sir Duck absolutely clapped everybody in the first international game, so hats off to him. But in most cases on deity, really not the best civilization. Number 35, we have the one and only Gilga Bro. I will not take any Gilgamesh slander in my videos. If you're going to say something bad about Gilgamesh down below, unsubscribe and delete yourself from the internet, please. But in all seriousness, Gilgamesh did come with a buff. You gain alliance points for being at war with a common foe, so early on it's going to be extremely helpful. Not early on, but once you get alliances. You get 5 combat strength against units, players who are at war with you and your ally. That's really nice, because that also stacks the military alliance, so you can get 10 combat strength against enemies you and your ally are at war with. That's very nice. The war card is a strong unit early on, although not as strong on deity, because the enemy is going to be able to build walls very quickly, so you're only going to be able to take a few cities with the war cards, which is still incredible, by the way. They're nothing to sneeze at. The ziggurat is nice, giving you science and culture if built on a river. It cannot be built on hills, which is kind of restrictive. It's a good unit. It's something you do want to spam build as much as possible, but obviously not too much, because it doesn't give food production or gold or housing, so it's really not anything you can spam build. All in all, Gilgamesh is looking really nice, especially when it comes to war. I'd say the only problem is Epic Quest is kind of a useless ability. The Tribal Village reward is nice, but that's like an only 3 or 4, and sometimes it isn't even really that good, so you're probably getting like 1 or 2 extra solid Tribal Village rewards. Paying half the cost to levy city-state units is nice as well. He just has nice bonuses, and because of that, he is at 35. Again, for those of you who probably skipped the intro or something like that, just to reiterate, all these civilizations in this video are pretty damn good, but there are like 60 in the game almost, so somebody has to go down low, right? If you want to play Gilgabro and you're like mad because I have them at number 35, don't be. They're still very strong to play as, and you could definitely make the case for them to be in the top 20, quite honestly, but in my opinion, they're going to be at number 35. Number 34, we have Robert the Bruce. That is right. Now, before you guys come at me, he has the best beard. Quite honestly, this dude's just got the biggest beard. This dude looks like he does potlucks on YouTube, pretty much. Like, he has that kind of beard. This man is like the medieval, stereotypical feast type of character. He's pretty strong, too. And he's Scottish, man. Like, that's just like 5 points on the attractiveness scale. Bannockburn is really nice. The War of Liberation, well, not really. War of Liberation really is just stupid. Honestly, you're not going to liberate any cities. You're going to take them if you know what you're doing. And you rarely are ever able to do this. The 2 movement speed and double production is nice. Better than Chandragupta's and Cyrus's abilities. But Chandragupta helps you get combat strength. Cyrus is a surprise war, so you can do that anytime. This gives you more production for 10 turns, but rarely are you ever going to do this. Maybe once per game maximum. Scottish Enlightenment is where Scotland really comes around, though. Happy cities receive science and production, and great scientists and great engineer points. Ecstatic cities, which is like 2 amenities or more, double those amounts. If you're going for a lot of cities, it is hard to get happy and ecstatic cities, but with the golf course giving you 2 amenities, it definitely is doable. The thing with Scotland is, if you don't have enough amenities, your abilities are literally useless. Scottish Enlightenment is pretty much the only thing they're good at. Industrial era ranger unit is it's a ranger unit replacement. Come on now. The 5 combat strength and Hillard Forest is really useless. You would much rather build a knight or a crossbowman, in my opinion. Bannockburn is solid, but you're not going to make too much use of it. Golf courses is really good, but most of the time you're going to go for a science victory. The thing is, if you can get a really nice start, maybe start in between 2 or 3 continents, get a butt ton of luxuries, go to war with your early neighbors, get a lot of cities, trade for more luxuries, get these golf courses, get entertainment complexes, get enough food to increase your cities to get entertainment complexes, because you're going to need science and production first, and probably commercial hubs before them. So if you can get these guys happy and ecstatic, great, you're one of the best civs in the entire game, like top 10 probably, but it's really hard to be able to do that. So like, if you're not able to do that, they're probably looking at like 45 or 50 on the rankings list. I decided to put them at number 34 because I feel like you're at the very least going to get happy cities most of the time, and some of your cities are going to be ecstatic, so I do feel like getting a 34 place is good. Their abilities aren't too reliable, although when done right, these guys may potentially be the best civilization in the entire game. Number 33, we got Canada, Wilfrid Laurier. This guy moved up 20 spots since our last tier list, so hats off to him. The fact that snow and tundra tiles now give you 2 production, 2 lumber mill production, and camps give you 2 food. Farms give you 2 food, along with reducing the purchase tiles of costs in these terrains by 50%. It's really nice. Now you will want to settle tundra tiles more often, because providing 2 food is really damn nice. The one problem I have with this is it still takes you a while to be able to build farms on this terrain, unless I am mistaken. You need civil engineering, which is like 80 turns-ish into the game to build farms. So you still can't really settle the tundra tile as much as you would want to. Early on in the game, you would want to settle in more plains and farm grassland and jungle and stuff like that. And then after you get civil engineering, you're just going to want to put that builder policy card in, buy a butt ton of builders, build a butt ton of them, send them all to the tundra and build monstrous tundra cities. So early on, he's still kind of weak. The fact you can't declare war on city-states sucks. Surprise wars can't be declared war on you is really nice, but the fact that you can't declare a surprise war on an enemy still sucks. So it's sort of like, it makes you better early on because, well, it's kind of a net even point. If you're not very good at the game, right, like if you're trying deity for the first time, Canada might be the way to go because no one's going to compete for the tundra. If Russia spawns, you're going to be on the other side of the map, quite honestly. No one declaring war on you means you could get away with just trying to sim a little bit more than usual. And every 100 tourism, you get 1 diplomatic favor. That's like max, like 5 diplomatic favor by turn 200 or something like that. So it isn't really that good. You receive double diplomatic favor from emergencies or scored competitions. The scored competition is nice, but emergencies, are you really going to go to war with somebody when you have no military? Are you really going to go to war with somebody? Like, you know, it's not going to happen. So it's not as good as it seems. Ice hockey rinks are very nice. All those yields are super nice, especially if next to a stadium building, but you'd have to build nice city placements. The Mounties are now one of the best unique units in the game because of their 2 national park charges. If you can get to the late game as Canada, they're really nice. They're probably top 20, but because of their weak early game and the fact that you can't really go for an early war as well as anybody else, means that they are going to be at number 33. Number 32, we have a Minotaur. That is right. A Minotaur was one of the best civs in the original game. Just goes to show you the power creep in this game. 20% production towards all districts is really nice. 40% if you have a Nubian pyramid adjacent to the city. Again, it has to be on a desert tile. So how often well, desert hills, or desert floodplains. I don't know if it's regular floodplains. Even if it is, though, like, a lot of the times, you're not going to be able to build this adjacent to the city, which kind of sucks, but if you can, it's really nice. Most of your cities, it's not going to be adjacent to the city. The Tasseti, you only get 30% production towards ranged units. Your ranged unique unit, Patati Archer, is expensive, though, so you are going to lose a little early game firepower, and because everybody below her got buffed, I am going to move her down a few spots, but she is still very strong, man. Production, lines over bonus and luxury resources giving you gold. My god, if she gets a good start, she can be absolutely insane. I swear to God. Yeah, she did get nerfed a little bit. One of the best civs early on. Early game, you can easily use your Patati Archers to go to victory. The one problem I have is on the higher difficulties. If the enemy does get walls, the Patati Archers are going to be next to useless. And the fact that they're more expensive, even if you have a production bonus towards them, means that if you build these archers and then you go up against somebody with walls, because it is kind of like flipping a coin at this stage, especially on the higher difficulties, you know, Emperor, Immortal Deity, you're not looking too good. Patati Archers would definitely be useless then, but the production towards districts is nice. The golden production you get is nice. Nubian pyramids are nice if you can get them. All in all, I'm going to put her at number 32. Very strong civilization, but she can be neutered if she gets into an unlucky position. And finally, rounding out the top 40, we have Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina. Now, really nice. Trade routes to your own cities provide 2 loyalty for the starting city, and trade routes to foreign cities or from foreign cities provide 2 culture to you. So you get those trade routes going, you know, the 2 culture's massive. If it was science instead of culture, they'd be top 20. No doubt about it, they'd be top 20. But it's culture, so it is sort of like a oopsie daisies in a way. Next up, we have the Grotte Rivieren. Grotte Rivieren, the Great River. as my Dutch friends have told me in the comments below. Major adjacency for campuses, theater squares, and industrial zones if next to a river. This thing is massive, and it's kind of like Indonesia's unique ability, but instead it's major, and the fact that it is beside a river instead of beside a lake means you will get more adjacency from campuses and industrial zones, and theater squares are hard to pull off adjacency-wise. Not to mention culture bombing adjacent tiles when completing a Harper is also solid, and 50% production towards dam and flood barriers means your industrial zones are going to be looking chonky. She is the one civilization that can rival Germany in production, pretty much. Germany is a little better than her, but she is definitely second place, no doubt about that. The polder is very nice, giving you food, production, housing, and extra food if adjacent to a polder, and production golden food as you advance through the civics and tech tree. It has to be placed on the coast or lake tile, and increases movement cost of the tile to 3, but it does become a land tile, so I guess that's kind of nice. Her unique unit is nice. It gets 7 combat strength and attacking defensible districts, so it's sort of like a mini trebuchet against enemy districts. But again, it's a naval unit. Naval units really aren't that good in this game, and it's kind of a catch-22, quite honestly, because if you go for an archipelago map, your naval units are going to be nice, that's true, but you're going to have less land to make use of your Great River promotion and your polders, so it's kind of like you pick one or the other, essentially. You know, if they gotta fix naval units, man. If they could just have naval units be able to disembark and surround us, like disembark crew, for example, and like surround a city pretty much. I feel like that would be better, because the problem is, in most games, you're only going to have 2 tiles to melee attack the city, and maybe 2 or 3 tiles, probably 1 or 2, honestly, to range attack the city. And because of that, you're not going to be able to do as much damage. The city won't be surrounded, and with walls, you can just kiss that goodbye. So really, I don't know. They have to do something about naval combat, unless you're archipelago. And if you're going archipelago, you lose your Great River promotion, like I said. So you're probably better on Pangaea or continents. But the fact that the Great River promotion provides adjacency to campuses, theater squares, and industrial zones is very nice. Polder's solid, as is her Radio Orange. Solid all around. So I'm going to have to put her at number 31. If you guys made it to the end of this video, you are nothing short of an absolute legendary Crimson Habsburg level chin Chad type of person. So I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Did I tell you guys to subscribe? And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.